Done.
All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. I know it's been a while. Y'all been waiting for these relationship reaction videos. Welcome back to Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy, the best kept secret on the internet. I am Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me for my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. Lucy and I are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is our flagship course. We teach ladies of all ages how to be the best version of themselves, leading with femininity, elegance, and etiquette. And as you see, registration is open. Our next 8-week session will start January 4th, and then we'll have a graduation and reunion for all of our ladies. So go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com for all of the details, and you can use the coupon code Maggie. But Lucy, please introduce yourself and let us know what video we're reacting to today, if you remember.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Lucy. I also have a small channel that basically has content about women, older women, women of a certain age, femininity, elegance, and some of the content is also for learning Spanish. So if you want to go to my channel, you can take a look at what your preference is, and you're more than happy to go through the playlist of what each of those videos show. But in this case, the video that I sent to Maggie, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, or maybe more than that, was about this young lady that has been dating someone, and the person turned out to be in another relationship. So anyway, so that's all I remember, because I usually send you these videos and I don't look at them because I want to have that reaction when we present them to everyone. So we'll see what happens. How exciting.
How exciting. That's one word for it. So buckle up, buttercup. So as always, I'm going to play the video. This is actually another playlist. I'm noticing a theme, y'all. These women are crashing out on TikTok. So we are here. This is actually another. Sorry, y'all. So we are here to react to this and find the teachable moments. This is from Samantha Talks. She was on a dating website and she had some experiences that she thought would be good to tell the whole world of what she did and what she experienced. So there's a part 1 and a part 2 that we will share. I think the playlist has multiple parts, but you will get the gist of the story. So I'm going to give you all your 2 disclaimers and then we will begin. Lucy and I come from traditional backgrounds as older women, almost 50, almost 60. We believe the older women should teach the young, and we do that from our own lived experience. So you can do whatever you want. You probably just want to do it over there, because over here we believe in boys and girls, men and women, husbands and wives, and moms and dads, in that order. All right. So that's your disclaimer. And then the other one, if you want to watch the videos without our commentary, I have linked it in the description so you can watch and enjoy on your own. All right, so I see you all coming through in the chat. Hello, everyone. Dr. Steele, Next Level. We got Sherry in the house. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me go ahead and mute myself, share my screen, and then we will see what this young woman has done. Hold on, I don't hear sound. I don't think you all
Right.
can hear sound either. Are y'all able to hear sound?
No, the little button for the sound is X'd out.
All right, let me start it over.
Okay.
He's like, do you want to go on a date tomorrow? Meaning
Yeah.
Wednesday. Guys, I intentionally gatekeeping this story, and now it's time. About a month ago, I went on a first date with a man I had met on Hinge. We'd been talking for like almost a month before we went on this first date. On our first date, he told me he had been separated for 2 years and divorced for 2 months, which felt a little quick to me. Yeah. I shared with him that I had been recently love bombed and that I was like really trying to slow things down on the dating front and take things really slow because I learned my lesson. Right after the first date, next day, he immediately asked me on a second date. I'm like, no, don't want to move too quickly. Ask me on a date for the next day. No, don't want to move too quickly. Tuesday comes around. He's like, do you want to go on a date tomorrow? Meaning Wednesday. I was like, look at you planning in advance. Let's do it. I said yes to Wednesday. I had plans that Tuesday night to go over to a friend's house for a going away party. And he texted me and was like, hey, I can't wait until tomorrow to see you. Do you want to just grab quick drinks before your going away party? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So we go out to drinks at this awesome spot in DC. And while we're sitting there, we're having normal conversation. And I'm joking about the fact that he is 36 because I always find myself dating people in the age range 34 to 36. It's just like my sweet spot. And he's like, well, actually, I have to tell you something. I'm actually 39. My age is wrong on my Hinge. And I was like, do you think I'm stupid? If you got divorced 2 months ago and that's when you made your Hinge, you were lying. If you made it back when you were 36, you were cheating on your wife. So what? Also, I'm pretty sure your Hinge updates every year, like as you get older. Like, I'm pretty sure it changes by itself. So I was like, what the fuck? That's so weird of you. I literally demanded he show me his physical ID because I thought that was so weird. And I was really creeped out. And honestly, I should have been out then. So I see his ID. He's actually 39. And I say to him, this is so weird of you. There's no good time when you're dating girls on Hinge to tell them that you're not the age you put on your profile. Like, you could tell them in that first message, or you could tell them like when on your wedding day, and no matter what, that's fucking weird of you. Like, that's never gonna be a normal conversation that girls are just okay with. Like, just make it your regular age. Obviously, you're trying to show up on Hinge for like young women who you can whatever. Anyway, so we finish drinks, we kiss, it's a good time. He goes home. I go to my friend's going away.
All right, y'all, I gotta stop it. Just a moment. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. Hopefully, you all were able to hear her beginning of the rant. I really struggle with this modern age and the way people are dating now. I've talked to young women, and I hear you all when you say that, online dating is pretty much what is expected now. But I struggle to even see how relevant my advice is going to be. But ladies, if you want a serious relationship, I know exceptions can happen, but I believe the understanding is dating apps are all right. You're not going to find somebody who is really relationship focused, because just the way you can just continue to swipe and you see so many options there, it's not going to be presented as someone who's really thoughtful about who they are and what they're looking for. They're trying to get to the action as quickly as possible. The other thing that I'll say is this. We just finished the wife class with the ladies, and I tell them all the time, ladies, you can accept with grace or you can exit with grace. If a man gives you a reason to believe that he is not trustworthy, like she said in the subscript there, That was your red flag. If you're seeing the deal breakers in the beginning, like honesty, then you can just gracefully bow out. But did you notice where she said, I made him show me his ID? So now you're calling the shots. Now you're basically telling him what you will and will not do. I just see this going nowhere quickly, but what would you add, Lucy?
I would say that in this modern world, I think that for young women to just toss those dating apps, because meeting a person face to face does a lot for you. You start looking at the way that they say things, and if they match what they're saying with how they're moving, it's so completely different. For me, that those dating apps are just destroying just being sociable completely. I'm not understanding. I just don't see myself looking at a person's pic and saying, yeah, that's the guy I want, not knowing where he comes from, where does he live? I hear these women dating overseas or from one side of the country to another. It's not the same. I think it's so important at this point, to just toss them, because you are going to not get the full story by looking at a picture and at some bio written by artificial intelligence. And the fact that she used all that language, that the F bombs from the beginning, it's just so not feminine, just speaking to the world like that. Again, she's not realizing that she's just not telling her bad decisions of choosing that man, but it also showing who she is. No traditional minded man is going to want to be with somebody like her.
Yeah, such a good point. We have Monique here who says, I was on a dating app for 2 days and got off quick. Ladies, we can't tell you what to do. You can do what you want. But if the outcome that you want is something real, like Lucy, I would encourage you to use your network. I know people clown for saying that, but I think having as many eyes on the prospects to help you make the decisions, to see your blind spots, is going to be useful. The other thing that she said, they went on a date. This whole thing has happened in the course of, like she said, a month. Okay. The other thing is that they went on a date and then he asked for a date the next day and the next day. And she pushed him off for like 2 days. And she was like, okay, yeah, now we're doing something here. Ladies, if a man is always available to you, you have to question that. If he wants to see you all the time, you have to question that. Usually the men that we want that are husband material, because that's what Lucy and I promote, right? Marriage and long-term. They're going to be busy living and building their life. They're not going to be able to see you incessantly. But let's go back in and see what she wants the world to know.
Way party. And I posed a question to the group. I'm like, hey, he lied to me about his age. It feels kind of sus. What does everyone think? My best friend, who was right, is like, get out of that situation. That is freaky, girl. But all my other friends at the party were kind of like, oh, you're just collecting data. Like, that's a first data point. Like, yes, that's concerning, but why don't you collect more data and see how you feel about the guy? Because at the time, I really liked him. We had great chemistry. He was super attractive. Like, we just vibed. But also, like, maybe part of that vibe and part of why that was exciting is because I could sense like something was off, or like we had that chemistry because like there was that excitement and spark. But like a lot of the time, like good, healthy relationships start like more of a slow burn, or like with a friendship. Like I should have known that that spark was indicative of like, there's something wrong here. So now it's Wednesday. It's time for our pre-planned date. And the first 2 dates he had come into DC for me. He lives in Maryland. So I said, hey, I'd be happy to come out to Maryland for you. I feel badly that you're always coming to DC. And he was like, well, you don't have a car. And I was like, I have a Metro card. And have you ever heard of that Uber, or do 36-year-olds not know about Uber? He was like, oh, I have a surprise for you. Be ready at 7.
All right, I just want to take a moment here and unpack a little bit about what she said, because she's blazing down just the way that this woman shows up, and I don't know this woman, but she posted this story on the internet. So we're going to use this as a teachable moment. I don't know a man that would look at how she is carrying herself and say, yes, this is the woman that I could take seriously. This is a woman that I would vet for marriage. This is a woman that, oh, thank you so much, Swab D. He says, I finally caught a live stream. Sorry that I've missed you, lovely ladies, over the past few weeks. God bless you. Thank you so much for the support. We did miss the last couple of streams because of me, because of the Maggie Meetup cruise. So you're all caught up, and thank you. So anyway, the way she's carrying herself, and you all, Lucy talked about the language. And again, young women, you can do what you want to. Nobody cares. But when you swear like that so freely, just as part of your vernacular, that says a lot about kind of who you are. Not only is it masculine, it's unattractive. No man looks at a woman like that and says, that's the mother. That's the woman that's going to be the mother of my children. They look at that type of behavior, and because you kind of disregard yourself, they're going to be like, oh yeah, she's going to be fun. She's going to be good to have fun with, and then move on to somebody serious. The other thing, and I've said this and I will continue to say this, ladies, when you go on the internet to vet, the internet is forever. So you may be thinking about this one bad dating experience that you want the world to know. But for the rest of your life, all other men or prospects can look at this and say, oh, if we have a bad dating experience, is she going to run to the internet to post my picture and post my name? Even if the man that she is telling the story about was a complete creep, I just think there's a way to handle things. And when I say exit with grace, you leave it where it is and you move on and you do better. But something told her that this was important to share. The last thing I'll say is she got those red flags and then went to her friend group to ask all of her friends, what do you think about this man lying about his age? There's so much that's wrong with that. If you know something is wrong and your friend group is kind of your what steers you into direction, you've already lost if you can't make, in my opinion, a simple decision like that on your own. What would you add, Lucy?
And she even discarded the one friend that said, yeah, maybe it's time to move on. So that's where it tells you that it's something is happening with her. She's not able to take guidance from other people. She's going to do what she wants to do. And then she's going to throw whoever made a bad situation for her bad under the bus. Again, and I also think about, her inability to think forward. What if that picture of that guy, what if the wife is looking or is searching for things? What if the kids are grown and they're looking at their dad's picture on social media? Do you imagine how devastating that would be for that wife and that family to have the business out there? It's just, again, she thinks that she's doing something great. What she doesn't realize is that this is going to backfire on her for the rest of her life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the problem, ladies. You can have these moments. I understand that we are emotional creatures, but you've got to be able to get it together and get through these moments in time without making an imprint for the world to see. This is what you will be remembered by. If you want to get married or have children on your own, they're going to be able to look up their mom on the internet, or their classmates are going to say, Mom, you did what? Let's go back in.
Me, having watched every fucking rom-com, was like, this is so cute and romantic. I'm so excited. Dumb, dumb, dumb. So he comes, he picks me car. I'm like, wow, this is a little date. He's picking me up. He's driving me to the place. And it's all a surprise. I don't even know where we're going. He takes me to this restaurant in DC called Mercy Me. Food was incredible. And I'm like, thank you so much for dinner. Like, was this a surprise? And he's like, no, I have one more surprise. This man proceeds to say, oh, I have to work in Arlington tomorrow. So I decided to spend the night in DC so I don't have to schlep all the way from Maryland to Arlington for work at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Spending the night in DC, got a hotel room. But what he didn't do was ask me to stay over with him. Like, he's that good. Like, he didn't ever explicitly ask that. He made me think it was my decision. So dinner ends, we like go to a bar, we grab a couple of drinks. I'm not even drinking. I'm literally like dead sober and I made these decisions. But we walk out of the restaurant. He's like, do you want me to drive you home or do you want to come up to my hotel room? And I was like, I could use a hotel room tour. I go.
I could use a hotel room tour. So you all already know where this is going. So let me see if I can unpack a little bit of the foolishness so far. And I don't know if you all are able to see on the screen the subscript that she's putting, but she's basically loose woman shaming herself for this behavior. Again, remember to the beginning of the video, all of this happened in the course of 1 month. She has been on 1 or 2 dates with this man. And again, ladies, do whatever you want to with your bodies. But the fact that she was able to do this so quickly with this man means this is the pattern of behavior. I'm just telling you, this is what men see. And so for a man to say, I'm working in town and I got a hotel, and for the first thought for you to have is, I would like a hotel tour. I'm not calling any names, but that's not the first thought I would have. I'd be like, oh, that's great. Is it close to the office for you? I don't know. But she invites herself over. And there is a comment here. Next Level says, most modern women want attention, not meaningful relationships. And yeah, that's why sometimes I feel out of place commenting on these, because everything I do is relationship focused because I prioritize relationships. But ladies, if this is the dating world, if this is what's happening out there, if this is what casual dating has devolved to, don't be surprised when you are single long after you're tired of this foolishness, because this is all that you know. And JTG says she was taken by his attractiveness and overlooked the red flags. Did you all hear? We went to this restaurant and the food was amazing. And she said he looked great. He picked me up in his car. And oh my God, this was like a real date. And yes, I'm mocking her, but my point is that nowhere did she say, we really had some conversations about his goals and future plans. I really was impressed by his character. I really admired this about him. So if that is your level of dating, that it's the good food and it's the car and it's the hotel tour, you are basically the fun girl. So enjoy your ride. And when that ride is over, you will be left right where you are. What would you add, Lucy?
You are absolutely spot on. When he said to her that he was going to spend the time and had gotten a hotel, he had already, he knew what kind of type of girl she was. Because I can tell you that in my 58 years and maybe, I don't know, 40 years of dating, a man has never approached me with something like that. First of all, you know, it would be something so offensive that he called me to tell me that. How did you get the idea that that would be something that I would agree with? And that's why I never got those calls, because the guy already knew the type of woman that she was presenting herself to be.
Good point. Such a good point. We're going to get back into here, but I may sound a little naive, but when I started this space and started talking to women, my eyes were wide open because I don't have these experiences, and I'm not, judging, maybe I am, but I don't have these experiences to reference. So when I talked to my man, he said, babe, men don't see you that way, so they don't even try it. So ladies, here's the takeaway. If this is the type of attention that you're getting, if these are the type of advances that are being made to you, if this is exclusively the pool of men that say, yeah, I want a piece of that, that is how you are showing up, because men categorize us early and often. And so if you want a different outcome, you have to lead with that change, because if this is your default mode, this is just going to continue to happen, and you will be the fun girl well into your 30s and 40s. All right, let's go back in.
Oh, hotel room tour, one thing leads to another. Take that as you will. Probably wasn't my best call. Anyway, I wake up in the morning at my own house. I'm on a high. I'm like, last night was so amazing. He's texting me. I'm like, we're getting married. But then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking really hard about it. And where he lives in Maryland is like 30 minutes from me. And Arlington is like 20 minutes from me. And I don't understand logically why someone would get a hotel in the city to not have to drive an extra 20 minutes in the morning. Something's not adding up. My spidey senses, something was wrong. My gut, women's intuition, something was off. I start thinking. I offered to come to his. He lives in his own house. I, live in a house with 3 roommates. The only reason I wouldn't want someone to come to my house would be if I was still living with my wife. So that activates the crazy in me. And I go to the internet and I pay for a background check, $25. Highly recommend doing that. Honestly, do it before your first dates. I should have done it way, way back. And I find every...
Y'all, I can't take it. There's just so much here. There's just so Lucy, there's just so much here. Okay. There's a reason we only do these twice a week. I can't take it. Maybe y'all knew this was happening, but OMG. So she invites herself over for the hotel room tour. And they spend the night together. And did you hear her getting married? How do you go from being one night stand to we're getting married? And then did you all hear now her mind after 2 dates and the hotel room tour and all of that? Did you hear her when she said, now that activated the crazy in me? I'm gonna tell you like my man said it. Crazy people don't know they're crazy. So the fact that she is like, oh yeah, I'm going in this late, this is her mode. And, I've heard this from women when she said, I got a background check. You need to do that before the first date. We're having a laugh at this tragedy, this woman crashing out for the world to see. But ladies, what I want you to see is what becomes of you when this is all that you know. Your reflex is to look for clues. Your reflex is to, he must be lying. And so I got to pay for a background check. I went from 0 to we're getting married in under a week. All of this could have been avoided if she had better decision making. I don't know if she's capable of that. What would you add, Lucy?
And also, where are her parents? Does she not realize that her parents might get a hold of this, or a cousin of hers could say, look at what your daughter is saying. Look at how she's showing herself in social media. And maybe the parents have nothing to say to her grown-up woman, but that's the kind of thing, because I can tell you, even at 58, I am terrified. I would be terrified to know that my parents knew anything, some of that behavior that I was doing in my modern hot life summer that these women have. It is so scary. Again, she saw the clues. She saw how handsome he was. She agreed to a tour. Could it, the danger that she's putting herself into right now as well, she doesn't know this man. Jeffrey Dahmer was handsome too. So again, you have to think about these things. I'm not saying that all men, are that, but there are the wrong men that could hurt the woman that thinks that, life should be a rom-com, because she even mentioned it. She thought she was in a rom-com. And unfortunately, in those romantic comedy novels, these women fall in love over a one-night stand, and then they fall in love with a billionaire, millionaire, and then they live happily ever after. And she's dreaming about something that really reality doesn't happen that way. Men do not see you like that if you have a one-night stand. And ladies, please trust me and believe me that they see something different if you behave that way.
All right. I want to see what you all are saying in the chat. Next level is saying women with class don't go to these lengths to embarrass anyone, let alone someone they've met or dated. And I agree with you. And I agree with what Lucy said too about the shame. Like the way we were raised, you represented your family. You still represent your family. I'm somebody's mother, daughter, sister, woman. You just can't be out here doing whatever you want to do because you want to do it. I don't understand how these women move. JTG says these are home run girls, and it took me a minute to get the analogy, but I get it. If we're talking about first base, second base, third base, home run, ladies, these are what the men think of you as, and it makes me sad, but I have to accept that not every woman is wife material, and there's a place. It takes all kinds, and I hate to see it, because my experience has been these women will get to the point where they're going to say, okay, now I'm ready to be taken seriously, but that ship has sailed and it's too late. Bert says she was getting married to what? So she had one night with this man and now we're getting married. Yeah, I agree. Wow. And she is completely doing it out of order. And ladies, you can say what you want to, but there's a reason why I think structure is good. And there's a reason why, especially when you're young and you don't know what to look for. Like Lucy said, if you want something serious, maybe she just wanted a hot life summer, but if you want something serious, there's a reason why the men in the community are so valuable, our brothers, our uncles, our fathers, to check the other men and the intentions and to kind of sniff out some of the things that while he's driving you in his fancy car and taking you to fancy restaurants, all you can see is what glitters is gold. And you have no idea that you're walking into a trap, and your safety. This is basically a stranger to you. It's been less than a week. You're intimate with him and alone in a hotel. Okay. JTG says if she vetted him better and was patient with it, all of it would come to light and you could save the $25 and the trauma. How about that? If she was patient with him. Because ladies, people are who they are. If he's going to lie about one thing, he's going to lie about a lot of things. So just give it time. Give them rope to see if they really are who they say they are or not. Let's go back in.
Single thing about this man, right? Like his entire family, every address he's lived in since his college dorm, every traffic citation he's ever gotten, every piece of dirt on this man. And you know what isn't there? Divorce papers. So I start freaking out. I'm like, why are there no divorce papers? Could they be sealed? Like, are divorce papers even public record? I've never been divorced. I call the Maryland County court system and I ask them, hi, do you have any divorce records under his name and his wife's maiden name? They don't have any. I say, can you tell me if there's a sealed record under either of their names? They say, yes, we can tell you if there's a record, but we can't tell you what's in it. I said, awesome. Do you have records under either of these names? No records in the state of Maryland. I contact my family friend who's a lawyer. I say, hey, do you have to get divorced in the state where you're living? And they said, yeah, you have to get divorced in the state where either you or your partner is living. And I had both their names on the lease of their home address from my background check. I knew they both lived in the state of Maryland since 2012. If they had gotten a divorce, it would be in the Maryland court system. So I'm realizing this man is married. So what do? I go on Facebook and I post in the Are We Dating the Same Guy DC Facebook group. I say, hey, this is Danny. And I include a picture of him. I say, he lied about me to his age. Something feels sus. I tell the whole hotel story and ask anyone if they know anything. Within an hour, my post is blown up. Hundreds of women commenting how sus the hotel thing is and that it's happened to them before. He's definitely married and cheating. A couple hours later, a comment comes in. Hi, I'm the wife. Call me. I'm so sorry to do this, but I have to do a part two. Come to part two to find out what the wife says. Guys, I've been.
Y'all, I'm at a point now, if I don't even know what to believe anymore, but the way she was so excited to say, guys, come to part two, it's just giving me like Risa Tisa and all these other vibes. So I'm going to go macro and then I'll come micro. Ladies, again, your trauma, your bad dating experience you're crashing out is not for public consumption. It is to withdraw and to be introspective. Remember, we talked about the woman who got left at the altar and went online. Now she has 40 million views. When these bad things happen, it is a moment for you to say, what is it about me that attracted this kind of person? What is it about me that allowed something to go from 0 to I'm inviting myself for a hotel tour? Maybe she cares, maybe she doesn't. But all I'm saying is the last thing that you want to do is run to the internet to invite people with our popcorn to come here and say, ooh, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. And she has his name, his wife's name, his address. She's causing all this commotion. When she gets the information that there are no divorce records, and for me, this is so much bigger than is the man married or not. If you know he is a liar, if you know he is a fraud, if you know he is not trustworthy, exit with grace. Leave him right there. This is not about putting anybody on Front Street. Aha, gotcha. You are not helping. Maybe she thinks she is, but I think the long-term hurt is it's going to be, what does this say about you and your decision making and your character that you would have gotten wrapped up in something like this for somebody that you knew for a week at this point? What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. And also notice that she contacted the clerk's office, the attorney, everybody else, but she doesn't say, I called him and I asked him if he was married. Because a normal person would say, you know what? Let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Let me call him and see what he says. She hasn't said in all of this that she confronted him and said, hey, what's up? I see that you have this, this, and that. What do you have to say about this? Instead, she took all the business out there. She is involving the man's wife, and the other side. It's just so disrespectful, just to make it go viral, and for what? To what end? To let us know that she made a bad decision choosing the wrong man. Bottom line, that's what it is. She made the wrong decision, and now she's trying to make it about everything else but herself.
Yeah, you all will notice that if you see the subscript as she's talking, notice how she glosses over her bad decision making, right? So is this the pot calling the kettle? You have a man that's giving you red flags, your words, and not only do you continue to see him, you're intimate with him, you're talking about it was so good we're getting married. You don't realize how this reflects on you. You're so laser focused on exposing him. Did you hear when she said, as soon as she found out that there were no divorce records, like Lucy said, she didn't call the man and ask any questions or say, you know what, delete and block, I've seen enough. Or, tell him there's no future here, I've seen enough. She ran to a Facebook group. I didn't even know this existed, but are we dating the same man? She ran to this Facebook group to post more damage and trauma that she's been through. It's almost like, and this is kind of sick to me, do modern women feed off of this type of chaos and dysfunction? I'm starting to think you don't like this, because I don't know why these series continue to come on, but you all are talking about it. Yeah, Bert says she loves the drama and publicity. All right, so if this is her 15 minutes of fame, if this is the hill you want to die on, if this is what you want to be known for, we will continue. So there is a part 2. Between part 1 and part 2, there's a part 1.5. I'm not even. We'll go to part 2 and see what happened.
So I pick up the phone, and of course, the first thing I say is, I'm so sorry I'm sleeping with your husband. If you're new here, click on my profile, check out part 1. I'm telling the story of how I found out I was dating a married man. So at this point, I've called the wife after she commented on my Facebook post saying, hey, I'm the wife, call me. And she's like, no sweat off my back. I'm like, what? And she proceeds to tell me the craziest story I've ever heard in my entire life. Here's the thing though. This is her story of her experience with that man. And I recognize that's not necessarily my story to tell. So I'm going to be very conscientious of the details I choose to include. And I would ask that you please respect that. She goes on to tell me that he's cheated on her hundreds of times with at least 20 different women. They still live in the same house, which is, my intuition was right, but in separate bedrooms, and they're not together. They're technically separated. I asked why they weren't divorced yet, and she said he doesn't want to get divorced. Guess what? She knew about me. She said he told her that he was going on a date with me, and he even recapped it after. Not only that, but he was...
Y'all, I'm looking at Lucy's face. This is so crazy. It's like laughable now. Okay, I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin. It's so messy. I don't do messy. Like, I have chaos, but I have harmless chaos. I'm just a little busy jumping jelly bean. So now this woman who's telling this video, and did you notice how she started it? Out the link in my profile. So whoever says she wants attention-seeking behavior, Killis is doing the face palm. She is here for it. She believes this is going to be her gateway into whatever 15 minutes of fame that she's always wanted. She found the story that's going to have us all looped in. And did you notice here, while the video was playing, there's a comment over here from Sarah that says, "You give me Anna Kendrick vibes. I love that you put his to protect all the other girlies." Ladies, you got to watch out for that sisterhood. It is not helping you. These women are encouraging each other to have bad behavior. And when the you know what hits the fan, they're going to be running for the hills. I promise you, ladies, they will have their popcorn and watch you crash out and enjoy every single moment of it. Here's my last point. Again, I don't know how much of this is true, but if it's true and she says that she talked to the wife and the wife said, "I knew about you. He's done this multiple times. We still live together." Of all the energy that you have expended, of all the time you have wasted, and the $25 for this background check when you had all the red flags that you needed, none of these efforts are changing anything. That's why I say, ladies, you accept with grace or you exit with grace. You cannot change them. You will not change them. He has a whole wife at home that knows and is fine with it. So you're over here again on the internet for the world to see that you got caught up in something that everybody seemed to already be okay with. What would you add, Lucy?
It's so sad, but my initial reaction to this is actually disgust, because she, already knowing that he was married, she took it into an additional step to even talk to the wife. You know how mortifying it would be to know that the man has a wife, and then you would have the gumption to talk to the wife about things that really, at this point, it should have been over and done with. You don't have to talk to anybody. You cut it off and you move on with your life. Now you're listening to another party tell you how the guy is not going to divorce her. So again, you're one of the many others that this woman, this other wife, has allowed in that relationship. We don't know what kind of relationship they have. We don't know if they have some type of agreement. Again, you're moving into some kind of additional dysfunction that you should have been smart enough to say, you know what? This man is married. I have seen enough. I'm done and over with. That's it.
Yeah, I agree here, ladies. I mean, we'll watch the rest of this, but honestly, who is the fool now? Because She thought she had all this evidence. And Next Level says, boom goes the dynamite. She thought she was going to catch you with the smoking gun and she was going to expose for the world to see. And she was going to tell your wife on you and she was going to do all these things. Like Lucy said, there's all kind of different marriages now. I know we like traditional relationships, but I understand and I accept that it's not for everyone. Some people have understandings and agreements. Sometimes people are like, we're just going to live like roommates. We're going to raise these kids. We're married on paper. We're married for tax purposes. We put up a united front, but we do our own thing. All I'm saying is that this young woman who is now, her words, a loose woman, you all saw that, and has now put this experience out there. What upstanding man is looking at her and saying, you know what? I really want to bet the farm on this one. She really seems to have the character and the decision making that will be honorable for my legacy. Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's go back in.
Literally talking shit about me. He told her I was crazy and I talk too much. Arguably true, but screw you. But she also told me in that week that we had gone on our first 2 dates, he had also slept with 3 other women. For the 8 years, he's been sleeping with one woman in particular, which is actually what his job in Arlington was. And they first started sleeping together when she was 19 years old, and he would sneak into her parents' house to hook up with her. He's incredibly abusive, controlling, manipulative. In all seriousness, I cannot recommend strongly enough to stay away from this man because he is very convincing, and even I was swindled. And let me tell you, in this moment, I felt so naive. I was really hard on myself. I felt really guilty and really dumb. How could I let myself be in that position? And honestly, really scared. Like, I was in a room with this man in private, and now hearing that he has done all of these things, like, I put myself in a really dangerous situation, and I don't want anyone else to put themselves in a situation like that, because in retrospect, that's really, really scary. And I could.
So now we see the crashing out in real time and the pendulum swing. I don't know if you all are noticing the wild swing of emotions here. And I don't know if you all caught it, but there was a moment there where she was talking about this man's other escapades and all the other things that he done. And did you notice she had some kind of like sick smile and he was doing this to this teenage girl? So for me, like, all of this is horrifying. And I don't know if we modern women have become so desensitized to bad behavior, if this is what you're used to. So you just chuck it in the bucket of another one bites the dust. Yep, found one, ladies. But did you notice how, when she was in the 2-day relationship, how they had the hotel room tour? It was amazing. We're getting married. Did you notice how he's picking me up in his car? Oh my God, this is a real date, which is basic. What does that say about what you've been entertaining? She had all these wonderful things to say about him when things were going well. And then did you see how quickly she turned? She had a little rant in there where she said, he's manipulative, he's abusive, and he's controlling. You've known him in under a week. This to me shows an instability in her mindset. And I get it, ladies. You think you're doing the sisterhood justice. I see this comment from Bia or from Bay. She says, to some degree, it's protection for the sisterhood. It's also revenge against the cheater. They hate their bad character being publicized. I would actually disagree, because 2 things. Thank you for the comment, but this man has been moving this way. If what we are hearing is true, this is not the first time. This will not be the last time. You can out him all you want to. If he has a whole wife at home and she doesn't care, who are you? Somebody he picked up on Hinge? This man is doing whatever he wants to do with whoever he wants to do it with. My point is that, ladies, at some point, we have to take responsibility for who we allow and what we allow into our lives. So if you want something actually serious, you have to carry yourself in a serious manner. Take this crazy man out of the picture. You meet a man online. He wants to date you or go out with you multiple days in a row. There's red flags there that you can't really understand. He has different stories about what he's doing and how he's moving. And when he says he's working in town and has a hotel, you fix your mouth to say, can I have a hotel tour? So who needs to be protected from what? In my opinion, all of this could have been avoided if Miss Samantha said, yeah, I'm not getting down like that. I wish you the best, but this is not for me. I could be wrong, but I'm going to tell you here and right now, I'm going to protect me and mine before any sisterhood. And, if there are women out there that are being mistreated, it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of it could be prevented. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. And sometimes the sisterhood also could turn on you. So again, it's good until it's not. So I think that taking personal responsibility rather than giving the sisterhood that power to protect you or to create that beehive that will go after whoever is hurting you, I think that's not the right perspective. Another thing I was thinking is she's posting the man's face online. It could be a legal issue. It could become a legal issue. And all that stuff that she's posting online, he could come back to, I don't know, with some kind of charge about character defamation later on. And who's going to save her from that? I guess maybe the attorney that she had her look up the information about the guy, but just don't do that's bad behavior either way. If you know that this man is not for you, move on. Stop posting it online. Stop doing that stuff, because again, it falls right back in your face, and no other good character man is going to want anything near you, because they know that if they do something that's not quite what you wanted, you're going to be posting that information for the world to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Killis. I had something uploading in the background that I stopped, but I see your comment, Bay, and I would just say this. I respect everybody can do what they want to, but here's the thing. On this channel, what Lucy and I teach is for women who want marriage or long-term. So maybe it's completely lost on this young woman, but if she does, and my experience is most women, even if they do this foolishness, at some point they will tire of it. And at some point they're going to say, I want somebody to take me seriously. And then a lot of women get older in years, and it could be in their late 20s, 30s, or God forbid 40s, and they are confused as to why they are alone. I'm a good person, I'd make a great wife or mother, and you completely forgotten the trail of tears and the chaos that you left behind you. So my perspective is that this is going to be more damaging to her. If you look at, like you said, the husband and the side chick, who is this going to be more detrimental to? A year from now, this man, if this is true, is going to be continuing to live his life with his wife and whatever young woman swipes on him on Hinge. This young woman who made this TikTok, unfortunately for her, which is now on the internet for the world to see, this will be old news to her, but this will have been permanently etched in people's memory. You're the girl who invited herself up for a hotel tour and like within a week, had this whole crazy relationship with this guy. Like, ladies, you have to understand, men look at it not only with how it affects us today, but if this is your decision making, if you have these wild emotions that go from we had a great night to we're getting married to now he's manipulative and controlling. And she said he told his wife, yeah, I'm seeing her, she's crazy. and she talks too much. I don't know. Let's finish the rest of the video and then we'll come back to you all's comments.
Could have gotten really hurt. And I think the other thing about this that I've taken away is that I'm feeling really jaded, because how can I ever go on a date again? I talked to this man for a month. We went on 3 dates. I really felt like I had started to know his character and his intentions. And how can I ever trust someone again after this experience? I've paused all my dating apps. Like, I will not be dating for the foreseeable future. I sent him a long series of explicit voice memos. I tried to post them previously. TikTok took it down, understandably, for bullying and harassment. Yeah, I blocked him on everything. I told him then and there that I was about to post his name all over the internet. Here it is if you need it. Because really my intention with this is to protect other women. As funny as my last story time is, which it is, it's funny, it's a crazy ride, it's also a story about trusting your gut and trusting your intuition. Women's intuition is never wrong, and we will always find out. That's one thing about us women. I reported him to Hinge, and as far as I know, they've shut down his account. Not to say that he couldn't make other profiles or profiles in other apps. And here's my advice to women. Number 1, it's not your fault. You did what you could with the information that you had. Number 2, trust your gut. If something feels off, it is. Number 3, get out at the first red flag. Do not give anyone the benefit of the doubt ever. Remember, you are smart, you have agency, and you can get out of situations like this. Thank you guys for listening, and stay safe out there. So
You're muted, Maggie.
Sorry, I'm over here hot, mad. I'm trying to be fun and festive. This is not the day. Okay, so she now goes from, I had a great night with this man, we're getting married, to now he's a manipulative, abusive, controlling monster, to the whole reason I did this is because I want to protect other women. Ladies, you've got to see how chaotic this looks. And again, I don't know how much of this is true. I know New Chapter says a lot of these are skits, and I'm beginning to wonder, but let's just take it on face value and see what we can learn from it. Because unfortunately, if it is a skit, I think it could be believable, because that's how a lot of modern women are moving. Just the lack of judgment, the lack of discernment, the rush to just, because you were so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed that, this older man was so suave and debonair that, he was picking you up and taking you out on a date, and you weren't using any of all these spidey senses, all these skills that you have to investigate and to do background checks and to call the court reporter and all this stuff. You never took the moment to say, something's a little bit odd here. If nothing else, let me pump the brakes. Let me just give it some time. Let me give it some thought. No, you decided to go in. And, again, her name, her face, she thought it was funny, but to me, it just reminds me of the woman who got left at the altar. Ladies, when we make these emotional decisions, the results of it live with us for a lifetime. And she's going to be explaining herself. I look at a lot of these younger women, like if one of the boys tried to bring somebody like this home and this was all over the internet, you think I want this as part of my extended family? This is what you do? No, go find another woman who can take a moment, handle her emotions in a more mature way, and do what's better for herself and for the relationship. You all know him and you love him. From out of the clouds, he comes down. Thank you so much, Thane Mithra, for being such a blessing to this channel and such a generous, generous contribution. He says, lie calm like still water, then confirm to the world your incompetence. What would you add, Lucy?
Dana's always watching. I love that. Like calm like still water, then confirm to the world your incompetence. And yeah, and it's really interesting that these young women just wanting that attention from social media are creating skits about situations that probably have nothing to do with her. The one thing that Sherry made it a point that if it was a skit, what she put someone's picture on the skit. So it seems like it's more of a verifiable situation that she went through than not. But it's just so the modern world and the modern women's thinking is so odd to see how they have no breaks. They will do every impulse that they want, and nobody's going to tell them, no, you don't do that. And unfortunately, they're going to get to their 40s and 50s without that one man that will say, babe, maybe we should hold off on something like this. And if they have that man, they're probably going to say that they're controlling, that they're doing all of these things, trying to keep them from doing the silly stuff that she's doing right now. So again, unfortunately for these modern women, men always, they never win, unfortunately. And it takes a special type of woman to understand a good character man. And those are the ones that are going to be the ones that get married and live happily ever after.
Yeah, such a good point. Let's see what you all are saying in the comments, and then we will wrap it up. Sorry, you all had too much going on my little struggle system. But I want you all to see the before when these women, 5 years, 10 years into this, are crying because there's no good men or they're alone. What I have had to learn the hard way is there's a lot of this behavior that precedes your disappointment. And a lot of women will try to clean it up and be like, I don't know what the problem is. I'm just unlucky in love. I work so hard. I try so hard. And I have been one of the ones that's just kind of like, oh, we've got to help them. And then you slowly start to see these behavior patterns. And here's the other thing, ladies. Even if you didn't post this on the internet, which you've posted it now, we're talking about it. This is how you have been moving through your prime years. And my warning to the women, especially young women, is that this is hurting you in so many ways because you are not developing real relationship skills that are going to be useful to you. So when you decide to put this aside and say, okay, I don't do that anymore, and you meet somebody that's kind of like, oh my goodness, yes, I could get on the program. I want to be a wife to him. He's going to look at you like, you can't be serious. You don't even know where to begin. I'm not training you. I'm not taking a risk on that. So this has so many repercussions that a lot of women don't think about. So I'm sounding the alarm. And I have 2 new communities free that I have started. I just want to shout out, and then I'm going to see you all's comments. If you are married or engaged, and if you are married or engaged and under 30, I want to do monthly, just a little 30-minute coaching with you all to be supportive. I want to push my efforts towards those of you that are actually doing the work. So I'm going to drop a couple links in the chat. It's invite only, but if you have prioritized relationship in your prime years and you can actually take the coaching and do something with it, I want to be a support system to you. That is my calling. Unfortunately, I have seen a lot of times women come to me after they've done stuff like this, and not everything can be fixed, ladies. And it's really sad to see. Also, if you are married and you have children under 10, I want to be a support system to you. We're going to have a monthly call. And this is not about parenting advice. Trust me, I struggle with some of the same things. But when you have a young family and you're trying to be, a good wife to your husband, and there's a lot pulling at you, sometimes it's kind of hard to see the forest for the trees. The subject for this month's call is going to be holidays with the in-laws, because families are getting together. And I know some of us think it's very joyful, but it can also be very stressful. So every month we'll have a topic. It's going to be private, a space that I've created for you ladies. So I'll drop the link in the chat, and I would love to invite you in if you meet the criteria. All right. So let's see what you all are saying. Yes, I understand how you all feel, but here's the thing. Who are we to say? While you're sitting here wagging your finger at what this man should do with his family, it's really none of our business. Ladies, we got to think about our own lives and our own future first. The way that she's moving is actually costing her a lot more than what she thinks is costing him. And yeah, Sherry is right. She is the girl who cried wolf because now she's lost her credibility. You just can't be out here acting so erratic. Bia or Bay says, please tell me how to pronounce your name. Yeah, she shouldn't have publicized it in such a manner because she has ruined herself in the process. Absolutely. I'm glad you all agree. And yeah, Sherry, did you notice that when she turned on the PSA? It's not your fault, ladies. Bull smick, it is your fault. None of this would have happened if you had not invited yourself over for a hotel tour. None of this would have happened if you hadn't gotten so enamored by what he was doing. And, you know, with respect, I know Lucy and I both share from our own lived experience here, but all of this happened in less than a month. To me, that's frightening. What would you add, Lucy?
I don't think there's anything else to add. I just think that it's, modern young women should start taking responsibility for their actions, and those actions eventually have consequences. And surround yourself with people that will tell you no, and will say, no, you can't do this, and no, that's not the way to do it, and no, that's not the right outfit to wear when you go out in public, and no, it's okay to be told no. Because again, those are the things that you haven't heard for so many years. And now we're at this point where, unfortunately, a lot of these modern women have no idea how to behave and do not realize that behavior will have really heavy consequences in the end.
Absolutely. Charles D says that she went from one extreme to the other like a seesaw. Chaotic behavior is not believable. And ladies, chaotic behavior is not trustworthy. And this is not something that you're going to be able to skate out of and say, oh, I was just having a bad day. I've heard women say that, oh, that's not really how I am. You just brought it out of me. Really, ladies, you've got to be more thoughtful about how your behavior shows up, because men are thinking, my God, what are we going to do if there's really a problem and you're going to be swinging like this? There's no way you could hold down my legacy. The Condemned is here saying, checking up on my favorite ladies. Oh, yeah, we're wrapping up here. I'm just checking out you all's comments in the chat, but I will put the playlist in the chat for you all to see. These women going to the internet to crash out for everybody to see. Why? I don't know. All right, so I have dropped the links. I have 2 Google Docs for the ladies that are under 30 and engaged, married, or saving yourself for marriage. Your call will be on November 30th. And then the married ladies, your call would be on December 1st. And I will have some words of support, and you can ask me any questions as well. So I think that's it. Let's see. Ooh, Sherry says, unfortunately, some of the older ones move like this too. It's disgraceful. It's just absolutely disgraceful. I really have a heart for the young women, because if nobody's checking them, but then if somebody tried, would they listen? So, all right. Well, we are back to our regularly scheduled program. I know we missed you all for a couple of weeks. I was traveling for the Maggie Meetup Cruise, but Lucy and I are here twice a week with you all, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, to give you our take as the older women teaching the young. Again, registration is open for the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. That is going to be starting in the new year. So ladies, you can ask her that for your Christmas gift, or gentlemen, if your lady's a little bit rough around the edges and you want her to lead with femininity, Lucy and I will teach her. You can go to checkout, use code Maggie, and check the box to send it as a gift. You have lifetime access, and our graduation, our yacht cruise graduation, is going to be in the spring. We're very excited. So thank you, Swabdi, for the generous donation. And thank you, Thane Mithra, for kicking the door down the way that you do. Anything to close us out, Lucy?
I think I'm good. I need to go cook something for my husband. I see him walking around in the kitchen. So I think we're good. And then Wednesday, we meet Wednesday. We're good for Wednesday?
Yeah, let me just check, Sue. Yeah, y'all know I am not going to get in trouble with Mr. Lucy. I want those pots hopping over there because I got stuff to do too. Yes, we will be back, you all, Wednesday at 9 p.m. So use the links in the description. Sign up for the finishing school or the group coaching. And until then, we will say
Adios.
adios.